We all know that Matthew Lillard is returning as Stu Macher for Scream 7, but could it be for a flashback? Hi guys, my name is Barry and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to discuss Stu Macher returning in Scream 7. Yes, that's the big talking point for Scream 7. Most people think that Stu Macher is dead. I hope he's not, but if he's dead, he's dead. What I don't want to happen is for Stu Macher to return in the form of AI. I don't want any AI in Scream 7. I think that's too cringy, too cliche, and too cheesy. So I think the only way to bring him back, if he is dead, is in a flashback. And that also gives us the opportunity to bring back Dewey, to bring back Roman Bridger. Those characters are coming back as well. So hopefully they all come back in the same capacity. And I believe the best way to do that is to give us the flashback. Now, we already know that Dewey discussed Maureen Prescott's death in Scream 1. I don't know if he was there. He possibly was there when Maureen died a year prior. So they could go back to Maureen's death and show a younger Dewey. They would have to de-age David Arquette for that. And it would be the same with Stu Macher and Roman Bridger. Because Roman's coming back, there's no need for him to come back unless he's tied in with Maureen Prescott. Maybe he goes to see where Maureen was. Maybe we go to show him filming Maureen with Cotton Weary, for example. Maybe we'll even see Lev Schreiber. But I think we're going to go back. I think we're going to get that flashback. It wouldn't surprise me though if they go back to the events of Steve and Casey at the beginning of Scream 1. I did touch on this before, but it is the perfect opportunity to bring back Billy and Stu, obviously de-age Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard as Billy and Stu. Go back to the events of Casey and Steve, how they capture Steve and then they torment and kill Casey Becker. Again, that's the best way to bring everyone back.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Why do this, you ask? Well, I think when Roman mentions to Sydney that it was his plan all along to get Billy to kill Maureen Prescott, get Billy to do this, bring Stu on board, at the time, I felt like it was a little bit too far-fetched, even for a Scream movie. But if you see those events unfold before your eyes, I think they're a little bit more believable and you accept it a little bit more. And it is the same with Dewey, with bringing him back. What's the reason for bringing Dewey back when he's already dead? Well, he's definitely dead. I know there's question marks of Stu, but Dewey is obviously dead. So I think the only way to bring him back, if we're not using the AI route, is to bring him back in a flashback. Yes, all of these characters could be brought back with other means, like they recorded themselves before they died, similar to Randy, and I've mentioned that before.
Told you I'd make a movie someday. Huh?
But with Dewey coming back as well, I hope it is a flashback scene, and we might go back even further than Casey and Steve to Maureen's death. Maybe Dewey was just new out the academy at the time, and he's like maybe picking up the body or reporting it or turning up at the scene or whatever, but he obviously knows what happened to Maureen. He obviously knows Sidney Prescott, so why not have Dewey there at the scene when they find Maureen? I think the only problem with giving us those flashbacks is the cost involved in the production of the movie. The Scream movies aren't particularly expensive, but they're not cheap either. And I think each movie is a little bit more expensive than the last. Obviously, aside from Scream 5, I know Scream 5 cost less than Scream 2 and 3, and I think it's because they waited a long time to bring it back, and Scream 4 wasn't as successful, so they had to spend a little bit less on Scream 5, but they spent a lot more on Scream 6 because of the success of Scream 5. And because 5 and 6 were both successful, I think they will spend a little bit of money on Scream 7 because Sydney's back, they need to spend more on the actors. And if they are going to do the de-aging process for any of these actors, then they're going to have to spend a little bit of money.
Would you work for the president?
I did touch on the fact that Anna Camp's character, we don't know her name yet, but she is in a trailer talking on a cameo, and she was filming Scream 7 at the time. And I forgot to mention this at the time, but the clothing that she's wearing and her makeup and her hair looks like a flashback outfit. It doesn't look like something that someone would wear today, and it doesn't look like the hair and makeup that someone would have today either. So if she's in it in any capacity, it could potentially be a flashback. I don't know if it's going to be his sister, his mother, his aunt, as in Stu. I don't know who she is in what capacity, but what she's wearing just seems off to me, like it's not set in modern day. And if it's not set in modern day, she could be part of that flashback. But what are your thoughts of the flashback, guys? Do you think Scream needs a flashback? Do you think it would benefit to tie things together? And also with the return of Stu, Dewey, and Roman, do you think that a flashback would be necessary, and would you prefer a flashback over the other things like recording videos, Randy style, or the AI? I know that a lot of people do want AI, and I don't want AI in these Scream movies. If we have to have it, then so be it. But if you ask me to choose AI, a recorded video, or a flashback, I would say a flashback, as long as they do it right and they don't retcon too much that the other movies don't make sense. That's another issue with flashbacks, is that you can give us a flashback that doesn't change anything in the films. That's great, but don't give us a flashback that changes too much. Like I said, if they give us a flashback just to beef up some of the story, like when Roman was mentioning to Sydney in Scream 3 that it was his plan all along, then beef that up a little bit. I don't mind that. It's when you start to change things too much that it retcons too much. I'm a fan of retcons as long as it works, but I'm not a fan of retconning everything to the point where some of the movies are unrecognizable.
When my mom left my dad, I accepted it. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
As always, guys, leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!